Hello everyone and welcome to Campus Executive. I'm here with IAE Lyon and we're going to be talking about the International MBA, the IMBA. In order to talk about it, I have the pleasure to welcome the Academic Director, Sylvia Didier, and two of her former students, alumni students. We'll talk about it later. The first one is called Fabrice Rio, an alumni from 2023, and the other one is Chuan Ma, and she is a student from 2022. The three of them are here to answer my question, but first, let's start with the corporate speech. The corporate speech, Sylvia, I believe it's, let's say, 2-3 minutes in which you will tell us things we need to know about this IMBA.
Yeah, with pleasure. So the IMBA, it's at the University Lyon 3 at the IAE Lyon School of Management. So we are in a public school. It's a program that is designed for professionals, which means we did it in a way that you can work and you can study at the same time. It's international, which means we have people, lecturers, academics, but also practitioners coming from all over the world. Our participants, they are basically people who already have an intense work experience in their respective fields. They are coming from R&D, for example, they're engineers, from sales, so from different fields. So they are already kind of well established in their respective fields, but what is lacking, or what they feel is lacking, is their managerial competencies. That's why they enroll with us. They like the international aspect, they like the fact that they can work and study at the same time. They feel also that the fact that we have very competitive fees. At the same time, we offer very nice quality of the program, that these are all points in favor of our program. So if I would have to summarize it in just 1, 2, 3 words, we are a public university, a public business school. It's a program, it is English, it's made for professionals, and we'll try to offer them a program of high quality that is a kind of fitting their needs to improve their managerial competencies.
Right, so Fabrice, when you started, you were a well-established professional. What made you decide to go back to school? How did you know that you had to go to this MBA, to an MBA?
Well, actually, it's been a long time I wanted to do this IMBA, even though I did an MBA in the past, but I really wanted to go back to school in order to study and to have, I would say, more like to go back and take a back view of what I was doing and really have an helicopter view, I would say, and have a more strategic and managerial way of seeing things. That's the idea, more or less. And that was a great experience, definitely.
Juan, we're talking about going back to school. I love saying that, even it's not exactly that because you're still working. However, what was the most difficult step, for you in the admission process? How did you overcome them, though?
To be honest, I don't think that I had any special difficulties in the administration process. I think everything went on pretty well. I had a lot of great information about the program on the website, so with a lot of details. And also when I get in contact with the program director, I get a very timely response. So I don't think I had any difficulties.
So the admission process was easy for you? I mean, the interview was easy. There was nothing to be especially worried about as a future candidate, for example, watching this interview?
I think I wouldn't say that I'm worried about the interview. I think that you need to prepare, and in the preparation process that you need to be clear about your goals in this MBA program. So I think if you do a good reflection on what you really wanted to achieve for the program, the admission process itself is not that complicated. So you need to be well prepared.
All right, I see Fabrice is nodding, so I guess he's agreeing with you. Sylvia, what's the most important things to be considered before applying to this MBA, like reflecting on your academic, trajectory or your professional trajectory?
I think the most important for me, and that's kind of what we do in the interview as well, and what I try to find out when interviewing the candidates is the program really in line with what they want to do. Is that really fitting their needs? And that's, I think, is one, she's referring to that in-depth reflection. It's not something that is very easy to do. An international MBA, going back to school or to university on Friday, on Saturdays, and working alongside very often already in an advanced state of your career. So it's not easy to do. So we want to make sure that what we offer really matches what they are looking for, and that's really, really important for us. So indeed, I think there's nothing to worry about because it's not a knowledge test. I don't ask any tricky questions to find out, okay, how does the person react under stress or something like that. It's nothing of that. It's really the idea to get in a real conversation between two adults and say, okay, we offer this. Where are you right now? Does it really match? Does it make sense? Did you think, for example, about the implication that could have on your private life, maybe on your professional life, and all the things that you cannot do during this year? So that's the kind of style of interview we are doing.
Sylvia is saying how you have to balance your academic life and professional life at the same time. Was that a big challenge? Do you have like a lot of work and a lot of academic work as well? And so
absolutely, yes. I mean, definitely you have some work. This is something you have to keep
make
in
that
mind.
Clear.
Yeah, you have to make it clear from the beginning. Your family life will change a little bit, will be a little bit complicated, but you have to manage it anyway. When you're doing such an, I would say, an adventure. It's a one year experience. Well, you have to make sure that you manage your life a little bit differently, and you make things differently. That's 1 year to go through, and then after, you're relieved. I would say it's you get to the end and you're really happy about it. So. At the end, everybody is happy. Also, your family, because they are happy to see you've succeeded, and they are proud of you, and you're proud of yourself at the same time. And it's a nice experience, as I was saying earlier. Yeah, definitely.
Small group classes, 10 to 20 participants. Is that a choice or because you don't receive many applications?
No, it's a choice. We do try not to go under 10 because then the interaction would be not enough, I think, and not over 20 because then indeed the interaction and also the atmosphere that we try to create is maybe a little bit more difficult to create. So what is important for us, why the size of the group, is that there is a nice interaction between the participants, because that is something besides the lecturers that we get as a feedback very regularly, that they say, okay, we came for the lectures and the content, and then afterwards we realize how important it is to be with these people who are, like I said, already very experienced in their field, good professionals, open-minded. So it's also very interesting for them to interact with their group and to have a nice interaction for the lecturers as well with the participants, and to be as personalized in our approach as we can. So we'd like to keep it like that.
Juan, what was the biggest challenge you had to face during this MBA? Because you said the admission process was okay. It was like very natural. You just have to have a nice conversation with Sylvia. What for the rest of the year? How did you go through it? What was the biggest, most complicated things you had to face?
I think it's some of the content is quite challenging for me because actually I'm from R&D background. And this is a lot of topics are really totally fresh. So I think I've told Sylvia once that I'm throwing into a different type of sea of knowledge every weekend. So I think to really manage to learn in a quite short time, different domain in the management, that's quite challenging. But it's worth it, and it's a very great experience, even though it's quite intensive, let's say, during the process.
All right. So, and the secret to overcome this challenge, like, you have to be very well organized. You have to, I don't know, maybe something else, like learn again, or like work very hard every night. I don't know. Just tell me, how did you overcome those difficulties?
I think maybe that's thanks to my professional education. So I'm a trained scientist. I used to read a lot of scientific literatures, and that's a very good training. I use that skill to really read and get the key point very fast. I think that you have to also make a decision for yourself to which level you would master those content, and that is a choice because you don't have to be the grandmaster for every topic. You need to decide, okay, what are the topics that I will focus more, because it's more relevant for my future professional development. For example, I have focused a lot on the project management, all the team management, organization culture, because I'm interested in that. And I think it's very, very relevant for myself. So you need to somehow prioritize where you put your attention and your time and effort, because yes, it's quite demanding, especially you have to work along the side. So yeah.
We're talking about subjects you need to focus on, and it's a generalist program. Will it still allow me to work in the luxury sector, or is it just geared towards mass market industries if I want to specialize somewhere? How does it work exactly, since it's very generalist?
Actually, we are not focused on a certain branch. Because our participants already, they come from very different fields and very different industries. So, well, that is not a focus for us. However, since we touch upon all the managerial functions and even beyond, I think afterwards it's up to you to develop this expertise in your respective field for up to the participants. But the managerial functions, be it HR, finance, etc., it's the participant who will afterwards see, okay, how do I kind of make that work in my field, in science, or in the luxury industry, or in the car industry, or wherever the people are coming from.
More than an MBA, it's also a therapy. I'm going to explain myself.
Okay.
You have 3 individual coaching sessions.
Yeah.
Did you go through them, Fabrice? Yeah. How does it work? Does it work?
Yes, even though 3 coaching sessions is not enough. You know, most of the coaching sessions are up to 6, 7, even 8, sometimes 10. It was very interesting for me, because during this year, I really wanted to take advantage of all the options that the IAE could offer me. I really wanted to take advantage of this, and definitely the coaching with Sylvia. I took Sylvia as a coach, by the way. Was
the academy director herself.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was very, very good, and it was good for me because it helped me also in my career at the same time. So that's definitely good.
Maybe I can add on just one word to that. Coaching is not therapy.
That's
very important to say.
I know,
it's for me. I know you were joking. You were joking, but it's very important to make that distinction. It's to accompany the participants, if they wish so, it's an option, to say, I'm in a transition phase, and what are the professional questions that I would like to discuss. So it's always with a professional context and not the psychological aspect. I'm insisting on that because sometimes there are misunderstandings about it, and I think it's important to clarify.
Since we're mentioning soft skills rather than hard skills, Juan, which soft skills do you think you've developed through this IMBA?
Yeah, so I think it's the communication skills, first of all. I think the most important part is when you're facing conflicts and different opinions, because I think for me that's a very good practice, kind of like a personal development, because I always wanted to win the conversation or the debate. But then during this program, since you have so many situations that you have different opinions, I learned really to listen to the others and not try to argue and always win.
Well, that's a really good skill to have when you're working with other people. That's for sure.
Because later on, back into the work, it's not about winning the conversation. It's about coordinate and get the work done together.
Absolutely.
Sounds like everybody's like agreeing with you. I would say it's even like more than that, it's even a life lesson, to be honest. And now we're going to move on to the expert question. The expert question is going to be for you, Sylvia. International, because it's an international MBA. We haven't talked about what's international about it, but we will go to there. International and sustainability don't get along very well. How do you take these challenges into consideration in your courses?
Internationalization and sustainability?
Yeah.
First of all, at the IAE, it's one of our things one of the points that's very important for us, and we try to reinforce that. Maybe not in every course, because not every course is maybe linked to that, but as often as we can. And for example, if we look at our syllabus, we encourage our lecturers each time to put something about the CSR and to think about how do we take that into account. So there's this encouragement for the lecturers to kind of put that into practice in their courses. We also, for example, we have a study trip. In the past, we went to New York. Now we are going to the UK, to Kingston. So that's kind of reducing the carbon footprint as well. So with these two actions, for example, we try to take into account sustainability.
Fabrice, what's international about this IMBA? It's called International MBA, so it must be very international, doesn't it?
Yeah, at different level. First of all, you have different students from different countries coming. So from Americans to Afghanistan, we had from Lebanon. It was really interesting and full of nice experiences, intercultural exchanges. That was very interesting. Apart from that, the teachers, also the lecturers, are from different origins, also from different countries. So it's very interesting. And also during the middle of the year, there is an international week where you can choose your own, I would say, your own classes, and where different students from different countries can come and participate to these classes, and that's very interesting also. So that's quite open to many countries in the world. That's very interesting.
You mentioned the teachers.
Yeah.
What's different about the teachers? Because you have had studies before, and I guess when you're teaching professionals, you have to adapt your courses, to adapt the way you teach as well.
Yeah.
How would you define it?
First of all, I think the relation between the teachers and the students is a little bit different than the one I used to have when I was younger. We are closer. I mean, we are treated also more like adults, and we have a certain experience, so each other respects each other. So it's everybody brings. All students bring their experience also to the teacher, as well as the teacher is bringing the academic part of its class. So that's kind of interesting. Also, at the same time, you have also professional lecturers, and that's very, very interesting for us because we are talking to people we are used to deal every day with. So and they bring their knowledge from their own experience. So that's very interesting also for us. So that's definitely international is the key word within the IAE, definitely.
How do you assess your students through the 11 months?
The evaluation, you mean?
Yeah.
It's up to each lecturer to define how do we want to assess them. Technically speaking, if they have a lecture that goes over through 2 or 3 weekends, we ask for 2 grades, so there will be 2 gradings. In general, there is one individual one, for example, an assignment, an individual assignment, and very often also a team work, for example, a presentation in class. And it's up to each lecturer to evaluate the competencies and the skills that they are teaching.
And is there like a final test or some sort, or they have to work with directly link with companies, or like, I don't know, a memoir or something like that?
Yeah, there is not a final test as such. However, at the end of the year, we have what we call the business case. That's a very important part of the program, where we think, okay, now they were taught the whole year, and we want them to push. We want to push them into a different kind of posture and a different kind of role. So the students have to work as a whole group, and they slip into the role of a consultant, and they work for a real company from our region, the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes region, in general for the top management and for a real question. So the company is asking you a real question that they have, the leadership team, and they work on that. So that is one big part, and the second part is the final thesis. So individually, each student is invited or has to write a final thesis if they want to get the degree. And that is a work where we encourage them to work on something that is important to them professionally speaking, to take a topic that is a link between what they have learned and the corporate world and their corporate or their professional project. And they have to write write that. It's about 50 pages, to be precise about that. And then at the end, and that's really the last part of the program, is the defense, where we invite them to defend their ideas and their work. And it's an informed discussion about what they did.
Juan, how has this MBA impacted your career? What has changed since 2022? Sorry.
Oh, it's a big changes. First, I moved back to China after 13 years of expatriation. And the second, I think I slightly changed my career track, because before I was mainly taking research scientist roles in biotech companies. But after completing this program, now I'm taking a more business-oriented role as a scientific marketing manager. So I would say that it's a big change for me.
All right, and
in a good way.
Well, it sounds like it. So, another way to put it is, what wouldn't have happened? I mean, if you didn't go through this MBA, what wouldn't you be doing now?
I think I would not be able to get this position working for the company, basically a dream company for me, because I mean, I had all the scientific background, that is not a problem, but I don't really have any field experience in business, especially in the marketing side. So if I had not have all the basic knowledge and the nice discussions in the program, I don't think I would have getting this position.
I want to ask you the same question, Fabrice, because I believe it's very important for people watching to know what is going to change. Because like there's the courses, the teachers, international, that's one thing. But what is it effectively actually going to do to your career? I believe it's like a boost for your career in MBA. And I want to check that with you as well, because like Juan could be just a good example, but the only one, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for the moment, not really, but actually, first of all, I gain in self-confidence, definitely. This really helped me gaining more knowledges in terms of management and many other things. So this will definitely help me to go a step further. I'm really looking for a new position in terms of general management now. I'm rather into a sales management, and I really want to go into this top management level. And well, I'm quite confident. So definitely this will help me.
You mentioned a network with top companies and a full range of high-performance career support services. Mm-hmm. I mean, you mentioned your website mentioned.
Yeah.
I know you didn't say it during this interview. Can you name some of those companies and services?
Companies that work with us, or services that we have to help the students?
Both. I would say both.
Okay. But companies that we work with, we work a lot with for the business case with different companies from the area. For example, Blanchon we work with, EO Guidage we work with. They are maybe known in our area. So each year we work with a different company for the business case. And for the support services, we have a career center, for example, for the students who, because most of them, they're working, but some of them are in a transition phase and they might need help with finding a new job, or already knowing if they're coming not from France, how do I apply in France? How do I build up my career? We have a communications department that is regularly, of course, communicating about the IMBA. We have alumni conferences as well. It's not really a support service, but it's something that we added to the program in order to make sure that there is a good network and the possibility to network between the alumni and the current students. So these are just some examples to answer your questions.
And is Lyon international enough for international ambitions?
Definitely, of course, definitely.
I'm doing it on purpose, obviously. You know that it's not all right.
We're in Paris, of course, and I know France is a centralized country, and of course a lot of things are in Paris. Nevertheless, Lyon and the whole region is I would say, economically speaking, the second, third, with Marseille region, economically speaking. So there is a lot of international business going on. And afterwards, of course, people who do not want to stay in Lyon, the world is open afterwards. And Yuan, I think she's a perfect example. She's in China from last year, from her cohort as well. Another participant, he just went with NG to the United States to develop the market there. So afterwards, we are not limited to Lyon either.
Juan, if I don't speak French, would that be a problem for my social life, for example, regarding this MBA?
I think if you socialize with the classmates, definitely not a problem. But when you're reaching out to other students, I think in the university, I don't think there's a problem. But for the daily life, I would say a little bit French wouldn't hurt.
Right, and one last question before we move to the last word for you, Fabrice. How would you describe the atmosphere? Because we're talking about like the hard skills, soft skills, the teachers, the alumni network, the career boost, but during all of that, in a good atmosphere or?
During this year, it's been, I would say, exceptional. I didn't expect to meet people. Everybody was in the same mood, in the same way of thinking. We had, and we were, I think, a good cohort, and all the
Definitely.
teachers were agreed upon saying that we were all together, we were getting along very well, exceptionally, and we still have a lot of interaction today. We went together to the to the travel at the end of the year, and it was really a pleasure to be together, to live this year together. When all this ended, it was like we had like a strange feeling, because as if we were separating, you know. It's kind of, but it was definitely it was a great moment.
So the question now we all have in mind is: was the 2023 cohort better than the atmosphere, better than the 2022 cohort? We won't have the answer to that. However, we'll move on to the last words. I'm sure the answers change depending on who you ask. Obviously, the last words, basically a few minutes, 1 minute each, when you can tell us, I don't know, one last thing we haven't said already, or maybe you want to underline something that we've already said. Juan, I will start with you.
Yeah, I think for me, this IMBA program is that it's not the beginning of my professional journey, and it's definitely not the end, but it's a very good opportunity for me to reflect and to look back on my personal development in my career, on my choices. And it's a great opportunity to refresh some of the knowledge I know before and learn a lot more new things, and also to connect to similar minds. But actually, I figure out more importantly to hear different voices, because that's the power of diversity. And I think Lyon is a very nice city to be. Within this year, I think I enjoyed my study life, and also I enjoyed my life in a city outside of the campus.
Thank you so much, Juan. Fabrice, your last words.
Yeah, same thing. I would say I was definitely very happy, and I will do it again if I had to do it again, definitely. And this was a tremendous experience, and I wish everybody could take advantage of this. Really, it's a wonderful experience, and for me, it's, even though I'm 54, it's the beginning of the rest of my life. In fact, I'm really starting, I would say, a new career after that. So that's great.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Sylvia.
First of all, thanks to Juan and Fabrice for this great feedback. I don't have very much to add. What's important for us, I think, is really to have an offer that is valuable for the people who join our program. It's international. It's within the university, the IAE School of Management. We value diversity. We want to create an environment where failure is somehow possible, and where you can try new things in a safe environment. I think that's what they talked about, the atmosphere, that there is diversity, that there are real profound discussions, in order with the idea that we have managers that are kind of up to the challenges that we have nowadays, and people who can do that, and who have the technical knowledge, but also the personal profoundness to manage these challenges that we have today.
All right, thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Fabrice. Thank you, Juan. Thanks to the three of you for answering all my questions. Like IAE Lyon would say, think large, think international. If you're interested in that, it's at IAE Lyon, IMBA, International MBA. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.